Robert Kesakos is your usual suspect. Welcome back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite football updates channel. It's a pleasure to be back once again on this beautiful Wednesday morning, about 41 minutes past the hour of 9 a.m. down here in Kampala, Uganda, where we do come to you live. And yeah, interesting things have happened during our absence. Apologies on that. I did communicate, I did give prior notice that we could be absent for a couple of days. So, hi LFC, how are you? LFC says, Robert, where have you been? Like I told you guys, I'd lost an auntie, so I was away for burial and things like that. So that's why we did not do our Monday night podcast, the Tuesday morning and night podcast. I did return back home yesterday late evening, actually night. And yeah, we were just unable to do a broadcast. But yeah, thank you for keeping it locked on the channel. Thank you so much for, re-engaging with us now that we are back. I hope we are back. We will be back without any interruptions whatsoever. But yeah, that's the nature of life. Sometimes bad things happen, and I needed to be away. I needed to be away for that unfortunate, part of life that we know comes every once in a while to some people, or more often than we care to admit in the context of life. Today we will be speaking about just having our audios tested. Today we will be speaking about that Martin Odegaard injury. We'll speak about the Uganda Cranes. We'll speak about among other things that are happening. Of course, today is the final day of the international break, so we should be kissing the October international break goodbye. Would you mind sharing what happened? Oh, okay. I don't think I would mind. Okay. One of my aunties was suffering from cancer, so she succumbed to that on Monday morning. So we had to go and pay our final respects, and that's basically what we did. So she fought a good fight. Unfortunately, although she won some battles, she lost the war to the illness, and yeah, that's how she succumbed to death. And it's basically that's it. That's just what happened. So, so sorry to hear about that, about your loss, Robert. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I think I was preparing to do a Monday morning broadcast when I learned of the news, and but I had to do it anyway. The same day coincided with other engagements that needed to be done, some of which that I couldn't do, but some I managed to do. And on that note, therefore, we will be having a video that will be, actually it's already out. It's about it speaks to it's an interview with one of the leading YouTubers in the country called Mr. Kasukukuku Wazabanga. There we need to have an interview where we talk about the Uganda Premier League, we talk about Manchester United and his predictions. Remember, he did mention that he thinks Liverpool will win the Premier League title, and many other things that we get to discuss in the course of that about 47-minute interview. So yeah, cancer is a horrible thing. Yeah, very, very horrible. You catch it, and it's not an easy fight. It's not an easy fight to fight through. You ought to have both. I don't know, the mental fortitude, and you also need to have the physical bit of it. You also need a huge chunk of luck for you to pull through once you contract cancer. I mean, it's just bad. It's just difficult to pull through. And I think for whether you've had somebody experience it within your family or within your friend circle, or you've just heard about it, even just hearing about it is enough to, to help you understand that it's always a very, very difficult fight for when it comes to cancer. Anyways, let's leave those unfortunate scenes and pack them to the side and now speak matters of football. Yesterday, the Uganda Cranes were beaten. Of course, Algeria needing 2 late goals to beat up against the Uganda Cranes by 2-1. I did not get to watch the game. Like I said, I was traveling back because our burial did take place up country. So I was traveling back to the capital. So I did not get to watch the game, but Stephen Mkwala opened the scoring for the Uganda Cranes in the 6th minute. They had a very, very brilliant run in the build-up to that goal, that run being engineered by, I think, Aziz Kayondo, the left back. And then the other side, Mohamed Amoura scored 2 penalties, both in the 81st minute and in the 9th minute of added time to see to it that Algeria beat up against the Uganda Cranes to complete the group standings, the Group G standings at 25 points after 8 victories, 2 more than Uganda Cranes. Of course, Uganda Cranes did not register any single draws during the course of their World Cup qualification campaigns. It recorded 4 losses. Algeria only lost 1 game, drew 1. But I think Uganda Cranes on paper, they had a very, very brilliant run, losing because out of those 4 losses, I think 2 of them have come against Algeria, home and away. I think a very, very worthy opponent on any given day. They should be looking to do better next time because if you want to be at the very best, you must rise to the top, like cream does or like oil does. So if you want to be among the very best, then make sure you rise to the top. And I think there's something to be really, really positive about for this Uganda Cranes under the charges of who are under the charges of Pol Pot, and things like that. So there's something to be excited about. But in as far as yesterday's results did go, of course, okay, just clarify. Yes, as Niger beat up against Zambia by 0-0, Chad lost to Central African Republic by 3-0. But anyway, let's not go into the match day results. Let's just confirm to you the teams that have advanced to the FIFA World Cup 2026 in as far as the African continent is concerned. Egypt made it with 26 points, 8 victories, 2 draws from Group A. Senegal did qualify at the expense of DRC Congo with 24 points. In Group B, South Africa clinched qualification to the FIFA World Cup after amassing 18 points, or topping Group C with those 18 points. Now you can see that Uganda, with their 18 points, could only manage second in Group G, while South Africa, with those very 18 points, they managed to qualify. Of course, it came at the expense of renowned teams like Nigeria, who finished second with 17 points. Then Benin also finishing third with 17 points in that Group C. So that means South Africa, Egypt, and Senegal are already into the World Cup. Then Cape Verde also managed to, qualification to the World Cup from Group D. Cameroon, did not make it. Then in Group E, it's Morocco who managed to make it from Group E. And then Group F, it's Ivory Coast in an interesting turn of events during the course of that group. So Ivory Coast make it from Group F as the leaders. And then in Group G, it's Algeria. In Group H, it's Tunisia. In Group I, it's Ghana. Ghana advancing to the World Cup there as well. Now, in the teams that finished second, the best teams that will be in the playoffs Unfortunately, Uganda would do find themselves out of that bracket, because out of those, you have Gabon, who managed to record 25 points. I mean, that's just astronomical. I mean, 25 points, uh, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Because they were in Group F with Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast recorded 26 points. It was a difference of a draw that made the difference. But 8 wins for Ivory Coast, as well as a second place Gabon. 2 draws for Ivory Coast, zero losses, while Gabon lost 1 game and drew the other. So out of those second best place teams, the top 4 include Gabon, Democratic Republic of Congo, Burkina Faso, Cameroon. Those are the ones. Then from 5th to 9th is Madagascar, Uganda, Nigeria, and Namibia, plus Niger. So that's the look of things on that side. Then quickly away from the Africa, qualifiers, the CAF World Cup qualifiers. I think there's something that needs to be talked about. I mean, of course, on the European scene, there was action as well. Yesterday, Spain beating up against Bulgaria by 4 goals to 0. Arsenal's Mikel Merino are stealing the show in that one. He scored a brace in that game. And I mean, you see, for all the criticism, fair or unfair, valid or invalid, that has been laid on Mikel Merino, in sometimes within his responsibilities on the pitch at Arsenal. Every time he goes to the national team, or at least he has done, because I think he has a tally of 6 goals in the World Cup qualifiers for Spain. I think every time he goes to the Spanish national team, he reminds those Arsenal fans that I'm capable of doing more than you think I'm good for. He knows how to bang in the goals. He scored 6 goals. I think that's more than players like the likes of Kylian Mbappe. In as far as the FIFA or the UEFA World Cup qualifiers are concerned. So yesterday scoring the brace, we know that he did score a hat-trick. The other day, I think, was it against Turkey before the game against Georgia? So he's sort of proven himself to be a very, very good goal scorer. And for me, that's the thing. Hi, Pedri. Good morning. How are you doing? How is it going, my brother? How is it going? Yes, it was against Turkey when he scored that hat-trick. Uganda, unfortunately, we are not able to make it to the FIFA World Cup. Yes, they were unable. They lost to Algeria by 2 goals to 1, like I mentioned, and yeah, the dream, suffers that premature death. But hard luck. Perhaps better next time. Like I said, Mikel Merino has scored more goals than the likes of Kylian Mbappe, than the likes of Victor Gyökeres, than the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo Nazario Darima, than the likes of Robert Lewandowski, the likes of Rasmus Hojlund, the likes of Cody Gakpo. I mean, he deserves his flowers. He deserves all the praises he gets. And he just knows how to pop into that box area and score in the goals. He does remind me of a bit of Aaron Ramsey from Arsenal in that period around 2012 to 2014, the seasons there in between, when he just had this nuance of popping up in the right areas and scoring goals. So something applies to Mikel Merino. He sort of has he ends up in the right places. Nigeria as well. Yes, Nigeria did not make it through. They did bow out at the expense of South Africa, as well as Benin from their group. But Pedri, tell me, what are the sentiments or the feelings about Mikel Merino in the Spanish media, in the Spanish national team, and among the Spanish national team fan base? Like, how is it like? What do they talk about him? Because for me personally, in as far as his Arsenal career is concerned, I've struggled in a way to find what he is innately very excellent at. He is a good footballer. We know that he does not have that electric pace. We know that he is a slow ball player. He does not have the long range pass. Not that I've seen it anyway. If he does have it in his locker room, he's not a spread kind of midfielder. And by what do I mean by kind of spread is that he's going to be the one, calling for the ball, distributing in all angles and in all channels. He's not going to run the entire pitch and be almost all over the place in that sort of form. So as a midfielder, watching him with Arsenal, I sort of struggle to see what makes him unique or what makes him stand out. And yet, when he crosses that center arc and goes into the final third and eventually perhaps into the 18 yards box, he was one of the best finishers there has been in the last space of a year or so. In as far as Arsenal are concerned, as far as the Spanish national team are concerned. So he's really, really a very, very decent player. I would be interested in knowing. I do not know if Pedro is still with us, but I would be really, really interested in knowing what sort of sentiments revolve around the player. In as far as the being that the national team is concerned, and things in that regard. Anyways, so Mikel Merino, Arsenal fans, do not be surprised if over the weekend in your away trip to Fulham, he is one of those players you see get to start a game of football, because he's been really, really good. Excuse me. Apologies on that. Then Mikel Oyarzabal was one of the other goal scorers, scoring in the second minute of stoppage time from the penalty spot, as well as Chenev also scoring an own goal. Have to leave Robert for school. I'm sorry, it's all right, LFC. It's always a pleasure for you to have you chip in. Yeah, and I believe if you do find the time, we shall be linking up at 11 p.m. East African time. But I'm still waiting for Pedro to give me that view on Mikel Merino and the sentiment around him, or the sentiments around him. What as is the Spanish media blowing his, is the Spanish media singing him all sorts of forms of praise, as it would have been the case if it were a youngster like Lamine Yamal, or if it were then sort of darling the way David Villa was, in a way, or the way they would if it was Alvaro Morata, banging in all those goals. You say Saudi Arabia also qualified. Yeah. Yes, I mean, congratulations to them from Asia. There for them if they also made it to the World Cup. And I hope they can come and surprise us. I hope they can come and surprise us in as far as the World Cup is concerned. You're saying comment above. Uganda Cranes are red. I reacted to Nigeria, being out at the expense of South Africa. LFC mentioned going to school. Saudi Arabia also qualified with that one. I don't think I've skipped anything, Pedri. I've read all those comments. I've read all the comments. But yeah, thank you so much. But I'm still waiting for your submission on Mikel Merino in as far as the context in the context of as you say, I'm so happy Qatar qualified. I want the World Cup. I want the World Cup 23 to be 20. You mean 2022 to be recreated? Oh, Mikel Merino is a very delivering player recently. Yes, he's very, very delivering. But what I wanted to know is how the media are interpreting all that, or how the coverage around him is, and the public sentiments. Like I gave examples that, for example, if it was Lamine Yamal doing the things that Mikel Merino has done in the wake of the World Cup qualifiers, the media wouldn't stop singing about it. The media will be keeping him with all these forms and sorts of praises and things like that. I do not see the world class quality in him. I just see him as an average player. I do not think he's world class either. And that's particularly perhaps speaks into what I was submitting on earlier, saying that every time I watch him, he's he's not the best ball player you're going to find in any midfield or forward, lines. You're going to see he's not a pacey player. He's not exciting in the sense of he's going to run with the ball for and cover so much grounds of space. He's not going to dribble ball past players. Once in a while, he will, do a dribble or two or flick a ball and things like that. But and yet he's just very, very effective around court. He's very, very effective. So I do agree with you on that. That he's not world class, but he's maybe above average. But you say Lamine Yamal is an expert with media. Okay, I do respect that opinion, but I'm going to say that the media ought to love you, because if the media do not love you, either they won't write about you or they will write badly about you. So the other example I'll give you is every time Hurricane is banging it with the England national team, or as is with Bayern Munich, the media never stop singing about it. In the UK, they just keep those drums rolling and rolling and rolling. However, if it were a different player, and in that sort of context, I do not want to cite any examples whatsoever. You see that you can have a media appreciation that is sort of half muted in a way that is not as expansive, that you wouldn't be all over the back pages, that you could end up being, maybe the story about you being worth of what a quarter page advert would take in a newspaper and things like that. So yeah, but some people know their way with the media, or they know how to get the media's attention and things like that. So I certainly agree with you on that bit in that sort of context. And then also the other player that I wanted us to speak about is Martin Odegaard. Now, reports have surfaced. This was, I think the story was done by BBC's Sami Mokbel when he was speaking, when they get to talk about Arsenal's Martin Odegaard. And we know that he's sidelined, that he suffered that medial, ligament injury in that game against in their 2-0 victory against West Ham United. But something is given that he was seen in straps or in a strap, he sort of felt scared. But according to the BBC, he will be out until mid-November. And that means during the international break, for the November international break, because that was the report that came out just a little over 2 days ago, or just 2 days ago, that Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard is not expected to return from a knee injury until after the November international break. So he suffered a medial collateral ligament injury in the Gunners' victory. So Arsenal did release a statement after confirming that he would miss the current international break. But we spoke about him the other day, and I told you he had been permitted to travel and he did celebrate with the Uganda national team in the aftermath of them confirming their qualification for the World Cup and things like that. So Nonetheless, we saw how muted those very celebrations were. That he remained seated in the dressing room, and as his teammates jumped around, I think he had been under some strict guidelines or conditions, and not to exacerbate or to do not to do anything that would cause him to exacerbate his injury struggles already. He's one of those players that have had it a bit unfortunate this season because he's just suffered injury after injury against in the first instances two shoulder injuries, and those shoulder injuries did cost him. They did really cost him. So you look at it all and think to yourself, and you're wondering how unlucky does somebody have to be. And yet, by the way, guys, when you watch when you watch Martin Odegaard, he was trying to be a better version of the player that he was last season. Last season, we know that he struggled. He wasn't at his very best. Now he's bounced back to try and deliver more to his Arsenal side. That's at the same time when you're having him getting injured, literally getting injury after injury. So it's not very encouraging to sort of see it in that regard. It's not really very encouraging. It sort of leaves you wondering how lucky must someone be for them to suffer those kinds of sets of injuries. And to be honest, when you look at the shoulder injuries, they weren't so horrible to keep him out for many weeks, but they're just bad enough to sort of kill your momentum in a way. And him as captain, he must feel devastated that he's not there to help his team. But he will be working hard to see that he does return to full recovery. During that period, he's set to miss a couple of games, including that game over the weekend against Fulham. He will miss games against Atletico de Madrid in the UEFA Champions League, and I think Slavia Praha in the same competition. He will be missing out on the EFL Cup, fourth round. That game will be at home at the Emirates Stadium against Brighton and Hove Albion, and among other games within that same period, both in the Premier League and in the UEFA Champions League, as well as the EFL Cup. So yeah, in that sort of sense. So guys, please, thank you so much. We did make it to 2,000 subscribers. Like I mentioned, that was the target, or had been the target for many months, over I think the last course of 2 months. It's good that we've achieved that. I hope we can even achieve more together. Like I said, guys, the next mission is for us hitting or making those 4,000 hours of watch time. We need to do that in a space of the year so that we can monetize the channel. It's not a secret. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. So, but currently we stand at 2,075 subscribers. So thank you so much. Now that we've made that progress. What else? I wish also to say thank you to all those that have gone over to the channel, watched videos under the video section, gone under the live section, and we watch some of our lives, or even those that watch them after they're done. We do appreciate you and do not take your love and support for granted. So keep doing that. Keep recommending us. Keep talking about us in the right places. Tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe to the Football Tribe UG channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend that we are at least almost always here at 9 a.m. and 11 p.m. every single day, Monday to Saturday, to discuss the very latest in football. Or particularly on Saturdays, we do come at around 10, 11, and that was at the recommendation of the very people that enjoy our content, to say, let Saturday come a little late maybe, and we'll get to discuss the reviews and any other news that may be therein. So thank you so much, LFC. Thank you so much, Pedri, for making today's broadcast worthwhile. I will just keep it at half an hour. And yeah, we'll look to engage further. Of course, I'll be back tonight, unless I do have no expectations of not being here. So unless something that forbids me from being here happens. So thank you so much. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye for now.